Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm the founder of Charlie the Traveler, and today we're going to be talking all about Belize. Belize is a small country south of Mexico, small but packed with a lot of nice things to see. It is one of the most popular of the countries in Central America to visit. We're going to be covering when I think you should visit Belize, how to get around, meaning the logistics. Do you use buses, private cars, car rentals, and so forth? We're going to put together an itinerary, meaning where I recommend you visit, how much time I recommend you spend in each of these destinations. We're going to talk about expense, how to visit Belize and not blow your budget. We're going to talk about the food. We're going to talk about the people and their culture. We'll cover some safety tips, and we'll also include a couple of funny stories of my times and experiences in Belize. November through April is the most popular time of the year to go. That's also when the weather is best. I wouldn't say, though, there's a bad time to visit Belize. In July, August, September, these are slower months because there's more rainfall. But the rainfall doesn't really last all that long. So, I mean, it's not too different from Cancun. They're very close to each other. So, if you want to save some money, you're better off visiting off-season. The most expensive time of the year to visit is during Christmas. It's packed. So yeah, anytime November through April, that's going to be ideal weather. But if you can't visit during those months, don't worry. Even if you're visiting May through October, you're probably still going to have a good time over there. How to get around. I would not at all rely on public transportation in Belize. Trains, forget it. Okay. There are some buses. Sometimes you'll see people walking out of the buses. Sometimes chickens will be flying out of the buses. No, I wouldn't mess with any of that stuff. I'm joking a little bit. I mean, the buses aren't that bad. They're normal buses. But they're not extensive by any sense of the imagination. So they're not going to get you to the highlights. You're either going to need to A, rent a car, or B, go on a package tour. The company that I founded does just that. We have a multi-day tour package for Belize. It's 10 days and 9 nights. We pick you up from Belize City. We drop you off in Belize City. You cover all the highlights the country has to offer. You don't really have to think for yourself. Just be in the lobby every day. Everything else is served to you on a silver platter by us. Now let's get to the itinerary. I just mentioned that you fly into Belize City and fly out of Belize City. Try to arrive as early as possible on your first day. Why? Because it's best to get you there so you can continue to San Pedro, which is the capital of Ambergris Caye. There's a boat that typically leaves around 5 or 5:30. It's the last one for the day. And what we typically do is pick up customers from the airport, transfer them to the port, and at the port, we will then take the hour and a half hour boat ride to reach Ambergris Caye, San Pedro. And then we have somebody pick you up from there. Now, if you get to Belize City later than, let's say, 3:30, and that means you're not going to have enough time to make that 5 o'clock boat ride. Plan B is to take a flight. So in that same airport, there's Tropic Air and Maya Air. What you do is you get your luggage from your international flight, and then you would check into a flight with one of those two airlines, Maya Air or Tropic Air. and then the flight is only something like 20-25 minutes. You check into that flight, get to San Pedro, same thing. But the point is, start your trip to San Pedro, and you're going to do so through Belize City. Either A, by leaving the airport, going to the port, taking an hour-and-a-half boat ride to San Pedro, or by staying in the airport, getting your luggage, checking into another flight with Maya or Tropic Air, and getting to San Pedro there. You got two options. Once you're in San Pedro, you're going to need to get around on a golf cart. You're not going to be renting a car over there. You can rent your own golf cart, or again, you have an escort driver, English speaking of course, who's taking you around. Getting people to speak English in Belize is pretty easy. Almost everybody does. They're also fluent in Spanish. It's a bilingual country. The day that you arrive in San Pedro, you don't know if you're going to be jet lagged or what. This is a day that you just kind of orientate yourself with San Pedro itself. There's some restaurants and hangout spots and that kind of thing. You're definitely going to see other tourists there. So kind of a day just to get adjusted. The next day, day 2 now of your time in Belize, the first thing I would do is a flight seeing tour over the Blue Hole. This is the most popular attraction in all of Belize, the Blue Hole. There's a mistake that some people make. They want to see the Blue Hole, so what they do is take the boat ride to the Blue Hole. They get there and then they say, well, I don't see it. Well, that's because you're inside it, okay? And you need to have a bird's eye view of it to actually see what this thing looks like. So sticking yourself inside of it is not going to get the job done. If you do want to take that boat ride into the Blue Hole, the main purpose of it would be for snorkeling or scuba diving. There are some spots in Belize that are better for snorkeling. If you're specifically a scuba diver, I can then understand why you want to go into the Blue Hole with the boat. If you're not a scuba diver, I would probably skip the boat ride into the Blue Hole. Instead, do the flight seeing tour over the Blue Hole. It also visits this shipwreck and some other nice stuff. It's about an hour-long flight. It was one of my favorite things that I did in Belize, and it's one of the funnest things that our customers do.
Blue Hole, Belize. Check us out.
Once you get back from this flight seeing tour, you leave from the San Pedro airport, the one and only airport on the island. Once you have finished this flight seeing tour, you get picked up, you're taken via a 45-minute drive, again on this golf cart, to Secret Beach. This place is pretty unique. The bars and restaurants are actually inside the water. And then, of course, the tables are sticking out. And then you have servers that are all drenched. Poor guys, they're going all the way into the water to serve you food and drinks. And then they kind of go out. It's a very interesting experience. It's the first time I had ever done something like that. Everybody likes it. I have never had anybody say, why did you take me there? It's just a very cool place to be. And between the sightseeing tour and going to Secret Beach, that will keep you busy enough for that day. Day 3 now, you still are based in San Pedro. And you would make a day trip to Hol Chan Marine Reserve, as well as Key Cocker. Hit up 2 for the day, get back to San Pedro. So the Hol Chan Marine Reserve is for snorkeling. The biggest animals that you'll see in Belize will be found there in Hol Chan. I was very much impressed with it. The coral itself is not that impressive, but the animals that you find in the water indeed are. That's about a half-day tour, okay? So what you do in this case is from San Pedro, you're basically relocated to Key Cocker. Key Cocker, you go to a local shop, they set you up, they give you all the gear, you do Hol Chan, you come back to Key Cocker, then you want a tour of Key Cocker. They have a very interesting split where you see these beaches kind of split. It's really an attractive sight. Once you're done with Key Cocker, you then take the boat back to San Pedro. Now, going from San Pedro back to Belize City, you're actually going to be passing through Key Cocker. So if you don't want to take that boat ride back to Ambergris Key, to San Pedro, from Key Cocker, you basically could just sleep in Key Cocker for that night. Personally, I wouldn't do it because you're going to be packing your luggage in San Pedro. You're going to check out. You're going to have to take your luggage with you. You're going to have to have it stored at the place where you're going to take the boat ride, or you're going to have to leave it at the hotel. It's a lot of work, and at the end of the day, you're not going to be saving yourself that much time. I would just keep yourself based in San Pedro, again the capital of Ambergris Key Island, and then make your day trip to Hol Chan and Key Cocker the same day. Come back to San Pedro the same day. Now on day 4, this is when you leave San Pedro and you head to Belize City, the international city, the national airport. You'll probably not want to leave San Pedro. It is a nice place. It's where Madonna had sung about that song, I love San Pedro, da 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 da. Yeah, that's it right there. That's the place that she's singing about. So, kiss it goodbye on day 4. You're relocating back to Belize City. Sleep in Belize City. There is a hotel. I don't want to drop names because I don't want to badmouth anybody. The nicest hotel on paper is near to the port. There's a couple of them, neither of which are that good. They're kind of old. They need to be updated. They're not going to impress you. You're better off going in a little bit further, okay, out on the outskirts of Belize City. And it's from there I would recommend you base yourself for the evening. Again, I don't want to say any bad names of any hotels and you know, that sort of thing. But the one that we recommend is the Black Orchid Resort. Now, on paper, Google says that this is a 3-star hotel. Why they do that, I don't know. I almost never put our customers in 3-star hotels. However, this is one of very few exceptions to the rule, because their 3-star hotel is better than Belize City's 4 and 5-star hotels. So that's just my 2 cents on that. On this 4th day, you will go from San Pedro to Belize City. Best thing to do is be picked up by an escort driver. Basically take you to the hotel, you drop off your stuff, or you could take your stuff with you, to each person his own. Some worry about having their things inside the car, others don't really worry about it too much. But in any case, you're going to go from the port in Belize City ultimately to Lamanai. It is one of the 3 most popular archaeological sites, pyramids, in the country. Some people will take the boat ride to get there. It's a very long boat ride. Some people like it. For myself, I think you're just better off taking the car all the way to Lamanai, checking it out, coming back to your hotel on the outskirts of Belize City and calling it a day. I think this is the most time-efficient way of doing it. The boat ride is also pleasant, but it will really change the logistics of visiting Belize. So I think just taking the car there is fine. Now on day 5 of visiting Belize, you leave Belize City in the morning. Your final destination is the coastal town or coastal village of Placencia. However, I wouldn't go directly there. I would make some stops along the way. The first one would be to the Belize Zoo. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of zoos. I get bored by them. Plus, I don't really like them caging up animals. This is an exception to the rule. This particular zoo is really nice. They've done a very nice job with it. I do think it's worth the stop. The other one would be to Nochen Caves. That is a lot of fun. There you go tubing. So you'll have a local who will go with you inside these caves. You go tubing. It is a great experience. And then what you do at the end of that day is you've now ended up in the village of Placencia. You're staying at your hotel over there, and you're going to be sleeping there for 2 nights. At least that is what I recommend. It's now because on the 6th day, you would make a boat day trip excursion from Placencia, and you go to different areas. The best snorkeling and the best coral you'll see in Belize is there in Placencia. It's a full day tour, or almost a full day tour. You typically get back around 3 o'clock. Then you could spend the rest of your day just enjoying the beach. Now we're on day 7. You're going to want to relocate from Placencia to the mountain town of San Pedro. I also would not just go directly. I would make some stops along the way. The first one would be to the Sleeping Giant Rainforest. The forest itself is really nice. It has a beautiful viewpoint from there. The next one would be to Barton Creek. That is a canoeing experience inside a cave. Very fun. And then the last one would be Sunachunich. Good luck spelling that one. And it took me a long time to figure out how to pronounce it, but that is what it is. Sunachunich. It is probably the, I would say, third most popular archaeological site in Belize, the second one being Lamanai, and the first one I'm going to tell you about in a second. You check out Sunachinich. That one is very close to the border of Guatemala, by the way. So that's what you do on day 7. You call it a day. Day 8 is when I would recommend you make the excursion from San Pedro to the ATM cave. This is the most expensive cave I have ever been into. Of course, nobody wants to spend that kind of money, but it is also the coolest cave I've ever been into in my life. Unfortunately, you can't take photos inside there anymore because somebody brought a camera inside, and then the camera dropped in some archaeological ruins, and then they changed the policy on it. So, but nonetheless, it's a wonderful experience. You want to be wearing water shoes, of course. You're going to get wet, and you're going to be squeezing through rocks and caves and all this kind of stuff. If you have claustrophobia, maybe this is not the activity for you, but if that doesn't bother you, then I would for sure visit the ATM cave. That is probably the most popular activity and attraction in Belize after the Blue Hole. So you're going to get drenched, of course. Lunch is typically included on that day tour. You're going to be with a group of others. It's typically around 10 people. And I really had a lot of fun with that. And they'll tell you all kinds of crazy stories. If you look up on the ceilings of these caves, you're going to see that it's like black. And that's because what people used to do over there is they would not only cook inside there, but they would also do these fire shows, and they would like hallucinate and start praying to the gods. So they would like lick toads, because they have like a certain poison inside these toads, and it would make them all high. So they would lick these toads, light a fire inside the caves, and start doing these crazy dances, praying to their gods. So I don't have any interest in doing that, but it was beautiful learning how they did it thousands of years ago. The Maya people, that's who did this. And just to give you a little tip, or a little insight, I should say, the Maya people didn't call themselves the Maya people. This was a name that was given to them by the Spanish, because the Spanish went there and they said, who are you? And they said, Maya? Maya? Which my understanding means, huh? So the Spanish started calling them the Maya people. I hope I had the story right and my tour guide didn't misinform me, but that's my understanding of it. So yes, the Maya people love to go inside this ATM cave, lick toads, get high, light things on fire, and dance around praying to the gods. You'll find skeletons inside there. You'll see real skeleton bones. That's as much as I'm going to say, other than just go visit it, don't miss it, as long as you don't have claustrophobia. On the 9th day in San Pedro, now you stay in San Ignacio, not San Pedro. So we're now still based in San Ignacio, and on this day you make a day trip. First, to go to Rio Frio Cave. You'll see some stalagmites over there. But the main destination for this 9th day would be Caracol, and this is the most popular archaeological site in Belize. It does look similar to Sunachinich and Lamanai, but this is kind of the grandest of the bunch. As of right now, they still haven't fixed the road. They have been talking about fixing that road, I think, since I was born. It's one of the bumpiest roads I've been on. So if you can't handle bumpy roads, maybe you should skip this one. But as long as you can endure it, go to Caracol. Along the way, you're going to see these different like Amish type people. They were invited there by the local government for farming purposes. So they've got their own homes, they've got their own land. It's the real deal. This is not some tourist attraction, Disneyland style experience. I mean, this is really them, how they're living, and you'll see that along the way. I discourage you from taking photos of them or videos. They kind of get angry at that, but that's kind of is what it is. On your 10th day, which I think would be your final day, because I recommend 10 days in Belize, 10 days and 9 nights. So on the 10th day, the drive from San Ignacio back to Belize City takes about 2 hours. So you're going to want to leave about 4 hours or 5 hours before your international departure. So let's say you have a departure at 5 p.m. I would recommend you leave around 12 p.m. from San Ignacio to go straight to the city, Belize City Airport. So that is the itinerary that I recommend for you. Again, I'll say it one more time. Start in San Pedro. Don't start in Belize City. After San Pedro, go to Belize City. After Belize City, go to Placencia. After Placencia, go to San Ignacio. From San Ignacio, go home, because from San Ignacio you go straight to the Belize City Airport. You may want to know something about Belize City itself and these other villages. Belize City is not attractive at all. I would not spend any time in the city itself. It really does give a wrong impression as to what the country has to offer. It's just the first impression people get. Don't let that deter you. The rest of the country does not look like that. San Pedro, the village itself, is cute enough. I mean, there's some shops and restaurants and other tourists. So it gives a nice little vibe, a very nice kind of atmosphere to it. Placencia is just a village, and it's kind of stretched out, and there's not like one main area where people hang out. It just kind of, everybody has their own little area over there. It's got a nice little vibe as well. The one in San Pedro is better, but I think with time Placencia may start looking more like San Pedro. San Ignacio, the town, no. It's not as unattractive as Belize City, but there's nothing pretty about it. I wouldn't spend any time in the city itself. Basically, I would recommend staying at a hotel on the outskirts of San Ignacio and just kind of enjoying the nature around that hotel. And then basically you make your day trips from your hotel, but you don't really need to spend any time in San Ignacio itself. So let's continue on now to the costs. The cost of hotels in Belize generally are incredibly expensive. I would say that from the 94 countries I have visited, in terms of comparing cost of a hotel versus what the hotel has to offer, the worst value I've seen anywhere on the planet is in Belize. I don't want to badmouth at all. I love Belize, and if I didn't, I wouldn't have the company that I founded operate there. But the hotel situation is a little bit of a frustrating one. For example, in San Pedro, there really are only a couple of good hotels. And again, I'm not going to be dropping names right now. There's only a couple of them. And if I had all the money in the world, I would probably open up a hotel in San Pedro. I would open up another hotel in Placencia. We'll get there in a second. Because I would make an incredible amount of money. There's very little competition, and that's part of the problem. They know that, and they all know each other. So they're not going to be lowering their prices to compete with each other. Even years ago, many years ago when we had COVID, they would not budge whatsoever on their prices, even when they had nobody. Elsewhere in the world, I mean, like Egypt, for example, we also operate there. The hotels, they were slashing their prices 70%. I mean, hotels that cost $300 a night, they were bringing it down to like $70 a night type of thing. Belize, they did not budge one penny. So it's a little bit of them kind of knowing each other and respecting the rules and agreements that they've created for each other. Now, while they don't lower the price, what they often do is spike the price. You're going to see that especially during the holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas. I've seen hotels, again, because there's only a couple of good ones. They could be a couple $100, $240, $250, usually around there. Overnight, they'll change it to $600 US, just like that. And they can. There's nothing you could do about it. That's why it's best to book lodging as soon as possible for Belize. If you wait till last minute, you're not going to be pleasantly surprised with the hotel prices. I've also used Airbnbs in Belize. Nobody likes them. I had used them for myself and my friends to try them out so we don't experiment with our customers. We don't use our customers as guinea pigs. Nobody liked the Airbnbs at all, and we did several of them. So yeah, you're down to a couple of good hotels. Hopefully there's availability at one of those two good hotels, and hopefully you book far enough in advance so you're not paying $600 a night, and you're paying within the normal range of, let's say, $250 a night. Placencia, the problem there is even more challenging. Hopefully by the time you're watching this video, the situation has changed, but there was only one 5-star hotel that I recommended in Placencia. It was temporarily closed. We're still waiting for it to reopen. Hopefully if it reopens, life will go back to normal and everything's good. But until then, there really aren't any good hotels there. So you kind of go to Airbnbs. Some are better than others, and they do have some good Airbnbs over there. But because the owners of the Airbnbs know that there are not too many good ones, they will charge insane amount of money. $500 a night, stuff like that. Another one of those things where we're just going to have to book as far as advance as possible so you get the best deal on lodging. The mountain town of San Ignacio. It is not as expensive as San Pedro, the capital of Ambergris Key Island. And it's not as expensive as Placencia village, but it's not cheap. The hotel that I use for our customers is one of the only ones that I recommend. Anytime there's no availability on a date that we need, it makes me cringe because I just know there's not a lot of good alternatives to it. There is one alternative to it, but the hotel costs about 4 times more, and almost nobody wants to pay it. So that's kind of what the hotel situation is there. The tours also are on the expensive side. The boat rides are a little bit expensive. I had previously mentioned the cost of the ATM cave. It was well over $100 US. So yeah, Belize is not affordable by Central American standards, but it's one of the most popular countries to visit in that region. If you want a more affordable destination, neighboring Guatemala would be a better pick for that. But yeah, Belize and also Costa Rica, not cheap countries by any means. So let's now get into food. Don't get too excited. You're going to go to several restaurants, and there's going to be a big menu. And it's going to tell you, okay, here's 113, item number 113, and item number 97. I mean, you say, my God, this restaurant has more options than Cheesecake Factory. And then the server's going to come, and you're going to say, okay, please give me number 57. Okay, we don't have that. Okay, then give me number 42. We don't have that. Okay, give me 31. We don't have that. Okay, what do you have? Okay, we have rice, beans, and chicken. Okay, You're going to go to the next restaurant, same thing. They're going to have like 50 things on their menu. You're going to say, give me number, 47. We don't have it. What do you have? Rice, beans, and chicken. So I don't know why they have menus as extensive as they do. They almost never have the majority of things that they put on these menus. But the one thing that they'll have day in and day out every single time is rice, beans, and chicken, and that's what people eat lots and lots of. It's okay, rice, beans, and chickens is what it is. What I do like over there are the plantains, plátanos, the fried plantains. I like the sweeter ones. Thinking about it makes me want to go have some right now. And the fruit juices are also really good. The fruit juices are good. Something to note though, if you want them to make you smoothies or whatever, you have to specifically tell them, do not put extra sugar in the drink. This is not just a Belize thing, it's all of Latin America thing. I mean, when you have them make you like a juice or a smoothie, they just take the sugar and they're just, oh God, they just don't stomp on that thing. You gotta tell them, don't do it. Just no más, por favor. No gracias, don't do it. So that's basically what there is to know about the food. People are pretty easygoing. They're proud people. They're proud of their country. I think they know that they're doing better than almost everywhere else in Central America. So I think they're kind of confident of where they are. They're not rich by any means, but I think they're happier with their situation than most countries in Central America. They're happy that they're in their own country. They're content there. They like where they live. They like what they do. They like their lifestyle. And they're very easy to talk to as well. They're tranquilo people. They're calm people. And they're pretty easy to talk to. And remember, there's a very strong British influence there. It's pretty much the only part of Central America where English is one of the official languages. Although you will find people speaking English elsewhere. You'll find it in Panama a lot, in Costa Rica a lot. But Belize, it's official. English is an official language. In Belize City, there are people more so of African descent. Outside of there, you're going to see less, much less. You're going to see people who look more basically like mestizo, which is like a mix of Native American and Spanish, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the look of the people. And of course the culture is a little bit different in Belize City with the African influence versus pretty much everywhere else in the country. Now about the safety. Really, the only place people complain about in terms of safety is Belize City. Doesn't mean something bad can't happen elsewhere, but it just really doesn't happen that much. And even if something does happen bad elsewhere, it's typically just somebody left their valuables at the beach and the valuables are gone. Don't be doing stuff like that. When you go on your tours, when you boat rides, I recommend that people bring a waterproof backpack, and then you basically have a lock on the backpack. When you go swimming and your backpack's on the boat, you can just keep it locked. Otherwise, you just wear the backpack when you're walking around the beach. But yeah, you don't want to be leaving your valuables anywhere on the planet. It's not specifically Belize that you need to worry about. But yeah, generally speaking, not too big of a deal of safety issues over there, other than just avoiding Belize City itself. And I think that's kind of it. Belize is actually one of our best sellers. The guys who I've trained out in Belize, they've always been very loyal to me. I have a lot of respect for them. Never really had any problems with them, and I really hope to send them more and more business in the years to come. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I hope you've learned a thing or two about Belize. If you want to go somewhere with beautiful water, clear water, somewhere that's not too far away from United States or Canada, let's say, this would be a very good pick. It really would. And briefly, I'm going to show you our landing page for Belize. This is our 10-day tour over here, where you see and do it all. You'll see the highlights, what we include, luxury hotels, English-speaking tour guides and drivers, all the ground and water transportation we include. You have your own on-call concierge, and it'll show you day by day the itinerary that we recommend. You can see this all right over here. It'll give you all the details. We have over 850 five-star reviews. You can read some of them here. Most of your questions can be answered in our frequently asked questions section. And this will tell you a little bit about us. One of the main reasons why we're in business is because of the five-star reviews. Another one is the fact that our tours are far more comprehensive than pretty much any company out there. We can't be beat in terms of the itinerary that we offer. We also don't cancel on people. The only time that we've ever canceled was years ago during COVID. Before then and since then, we've absolutely never canceled on anybody. And you can start whenever you would like. You choose the date. This is us, and that's it. That's what we do. And that's it. All right, thank you.